I would like to share with you my journey in breastfeeding as an encouragement and as well as some advice that could lead you to better and easier way to breastfeed your children. So I would say that the breastfeeding is, it has always been for me a value that I always thought that I would continue with. So I was very determined that I was going to breastfeed. And I didn't have any questions about it, whether I was going to face challenges or not, that I would give up on breastfeeding. That was not even a choice. So I was like very determined to breastfeed. And I considered it to be kind of normal thing. And I didn't know back then that I didn't know. So as an important point here, I encourage you, everyone who is going to have a baby and is thinking about breastfeeding, to get information and get really the information about the benefits of breastfeeding and get really the scheme that how breastfeeding goes, especially the first moments, which are very crucial in the whole breastfeeding process. So when I gave birth to my baby boy, I knew already that first contact, skin contact, is supposed to be taking place after birth as soon as possible. And thankfully, I was blessed to have a natural birth, although as a first birth, so it lasted pretty long, more than 30 hours, 31 hours of contractions. And yeah, fortunately, after they were like, I heard them in those last hours when I was almost passing out. So I heard them discussing that maybe they should have done a seizure section for me, but I was really going with the natural birth, and I was preferring natural birth, also knowing the benefits of the natural birth. So as long as it was possible, thankfully I made it alive and I got my baby out. And yeah, and so I got my baby, put it on my chest, and we got that first skin contact, which is very important. And that's something you want to go hold on to the whole first months, maybe even, that you want to be skin to skin with the baby as much as possible, during night, during day, every time, every day, 24/7. So that was something I didn't actually know, the importance of skin-to-skin contact and its contribution to the whole breastfeeding process. That was something I didn't know about that back then. So still, I was hurrying too much the process, maybe because I didn't know that you should give the baby time there, like have that skin-to-skin contact and give baby time to latch and find the breast in his own time and tempo. So I was getting pretty anxious there that he didn't start actually he didn't start latching right away. It took a while for him to get the process done. But anyhow, and the other mistake that I did right there, I must admit that I didn't have him next to me the first night, and you know, this was like misinformation that we didn't know back then, that you should hold your baby always skin to skin and have him always sleeping next to you. Of course, there are some extreme cases, but in my so to say normal case, I should have had my baby sleep next to me. And fortunately, we have some very wonderful nurses. So here in Finland, so they were giving me the information, or I was lucky enough to have the information right away, and they were saying that, explaining how this whole contact and bonding between mom and baby, which should be a physical bonding right from the start, how it contributes to many physical and emotional, and as well as especially psychological factors. And right from that, it actually made the whole thing much easier for me. So I had the child right from that day. So I had him all the time, as much as I could, of course. And now if I could turn back the time, I would have him much more even. But like we're until this day, so like we were all sleeping together and day and night, going over the breastfeeding and have the skin-to-skin time as much as we can. So the other problem that started, which is actually, I would just back up a little bit, that this is the kind of phenomena that happens with newborns or children babies usually, but it comes and goes. So it comes about like 2 weeks, and then it goes and comes like in successive periods. This is something they can see that baby is refusing breastfeeding. So they don't really know exactly what is the reason to that, but they have contributed that it's something. It has something to do with brain development. So it could be something doing with that. So there's something going on in their brain. So a baby is not really able to handle that in a rational manner, so to say. So he does pretty irrational things. So for us, this stage lasted not 2 weeks, not 1 month, no, many, many months. And I'll come back to tell you exactly how many months this lasted. But I would like to describe how it was. So it was all the time very difficult for me to breastfeed him, because he would refuse breastfeeding as a whole session. And he was burping a lot. He was even throwing out a lot. And he had some reflux issues as well. So this was making the breastfeeding sessions very hard, because he was always refusing it, which is very, like for us moms who are breastfeeding, it is very, painful experience, so to say, because you're trying to do your best for your baby, and then the baby is just refusing it. But fortunately enough, so I was so determined that I was gonna get it done, and I didn't have, in my mind, I didn't give it a second option. So we were continuing it by it, and day and night, and especially when he was asleep. So that was the best time, and during nights, to breastfeed him. That was the only time that he would be more willing to take it, although I always did try to breastfeed him during the day, and it varied. So I turned to the organization that we have had here, and the organization was about breastfeeding, and it was giving out like support and information about breastfeeding. So I got really great tips from them as to how to handle this case, and support as well. And as I told you, the best tips that work for me, the best advice that worked for me, is that I should breastfeed the baby when the baby is sleepy, like is falling asleep or just woken up, or during the night and stuff like that. And I got so so this lasted about 9 months. This whole refusing mode for him lasted about 9 months, and then after the 9 months, we got it. So I was continuing the last 9 months on this way, and then after 9 months, finally we got it rolling. We got the whole breastfeeding thing rolling, and fortunately, after that, it was very easy and very blissful moments, those breastfeeding moments. And so I myself, I got so excited about breastfeeding itself, and learning about breastfeeding more and more as I went on, and learning about the benefits, and learning about World Health Organization, and it advised that you're supposed to be breastfeeding the child at least 2 years, and of course beyond. But at least like 2 years. So I was so excited with it, and I myself also I became a member of that breastfeeding organization. So we're like volunteering to support other breastfeeding moms, and give them the support and information that they need. So I volunteered myself. I went to courses, got the information, got the stuff, and I've been working especially with mothers from other countries, especially from Arabic-speaking countries, as that's the field that I feel that there's the most need there, because they don't have such wonderful organizations that we have here in the West, so they can afford that. So they get left alone pretty much with those issues, and that's why I felt that my duty, so to say, and my calling is to promote the breastfeeding there. So I got on with that, and fortunately, until this day, my son is now 3 years old, over 3 years old, and I'm breastfeeding him day and night, in and out, and in and out, inside the house, outside the house, and I do it consciously because, as well, when I'm breastfeeding him in social situations, like in public transports and stuff like that, there's the point behind it, because I want to be breaking the taboos. And that's also pretty important mission when you think about it, because many mothers have unfortunately been objectified with those taboos that there's some limit to breastfeeding, like you're not supposed to be breastfeeding toddlers or stuff like that. And I decided, well, there's one great red line taboo that I could be breaking by words and action, and I've been doing that with words and action. And it's just great, yeah, especially when you know all those benefits of the breastfeeding, which I'm not going to go in this video because I just want to share with you my story in English. So hope this reaches as many people, just for the sake of encouragement and advice. And the most of my content is in Arabic, so that's where I'm more oriented to, as feeling of the necessity more there. But wonderful, grateful, blessing the breastfeeding is. And yes, I had other struggles as well. I had those bruises, like scratches or or wounds, and that's all part of the story. I know it's not. It's actually, it has its reasons to it, and it can be fixed. It can be even eliminated, these wound stuff and scratches. But you know, it's all a part of the story. So I'm so thankful that I had this experience, and I'm going on with it, and I'm hoping all the best for you, and especially all the best for moms. And it does take a hard work for every mom, and everyone does the best she can. So my shout out for you.